Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bajerski Live on YouTube here in Jimbaran, beautiful island of Bali. Rather than look at my face this morning, I thought I'd just share with you the view. Hopefully, I'm going to be here most of the day working on the Flower Bible. Thank you for your messages last night, kindness and support. As always, thank you for going to markbajerski.com and buying your authentic crystals, oils and incense. And everything else that's on there, which we've got a lot of special offers at the moment. People are loving them, so I'm very thankful for that. We've got 6 Tech special offers, which is amazing. So it's a kind of family and friends Tech to give as gifts, especially at this time where people are struggling with negative energy, and of course with the opening of CERN, which is constant, I think, throughout the year. Then there's a lot of negative energies happening at any given moment. Plus the cloud seeding, which is a real thing and now publicised on the Indonesian website. So they cloud seeded last week here to create rain, which it rained. So it's a real thing, guys. So welcome anyway to the Four Seasons. They turned me away this morning. They said it was too busy. And I said, really? Oh, what a shame. And then they changed their mind and put me in another room. And then they changed their mind again and brought me in here. So I think the spirit world, my family and spirit are working very well this morning to allow me here. Not that I'm a big fan of Dior, but as you can see, there's a pink canopy there of Dior, and I don't know, this year it's Dior, which is part of the Four Seasons. I'm not a massive fan of design, although my partner is. She loves designs and she appreciates it. I just appreciate the sea right next to me, and the fact that people are kind here. I don't know, it's just lovely. And although it costs a lot of money to eat here, it's my treat. Somebody sent me a message yesterday saying, you know what, you deserve it, Mark. You don't drink, you don't smoke. I don't really do anything crazy. I don't gamble. So yeah, a little bit inside me is like, oh my God, yeah, to eat here in a day is like 100 euros, something like that, to eat for the whole day. And yeah, it's a lot of money, and I could do much more with that money. But if you want inspiration, it's very hard to get it. It's hard to get inspiration, to get the right scene. And I haven't been inspired for the past 5 days in Canggu, 4 days in Canggu. In fact, for the first time, I couldn't wait to get away. It wasn't a nice energy at all. So it's nice just to come to this little section of Jimbaran. And so turn the music up louder, why don't you? Okay. I think that's deliberate. Sorry about that. Sorry. I don't think I'll be able to talk now. I guess it's too loud, right, guys? Is it too loud now? Maybe it's too loud now. What a shame. That was deliberate. That was actually deliberate. They turned that up deliberately when they saw me talking. Which is a bit of a shame, really. There's no need, because nobody's anywhere near. There's actually nobody here at all. Nobody here, so there was no need to turn the music up so loud. Not that I don't like the music's lovely. So, welcome everybody. So I just want to tackle a couple of points then, if you can still hear me. Probably annoying, but it's annoying me. It's too loud for me. But I'll try and tackle a couple of points, if that's okay. So, the first point is with regards to a meme that I put up yesterday, and that is, if you if you've ever said to yourself, this is the last time I'm ever coming here again, normally means that you'll end up coming again. And a lot of people got shocked, and a lot of people says, please explain why. So the reason why I say this is a lot of the times when we scream and shout when we meet somebody who treats us like shit, and we go on social media or we sit down and say, why am I always treated so bad when I meet somebody? You know, meaning a relationship, for instance. So you meet a partner, he's abusive. So you stay in that relationship too long, and then he leaves you, right? You don't leave him, he leaves you, normally. But maybe you leave him, but let's say he leaves you. Then you scream and shout and say it was an abusive relationship. And then all of a sudden you end up in another relationship, and it's another abusive relationship. But in between that, you say never again, because you scream and shout and tell everybody, you know, I'm never going to be in I've been in an abusive relationship, never again. And then it comes back again, and it keeps coming back. So there's something in that. So it's quite easy to understand if you think about it. The reason why you say, I don't want to be in an abusive, I'm never going to be in an abusive relationship, is because you didn't conquer the last relationship. It's really simple. So the next relationship comes because the spirit world and you want to conquer that relationship. You want to be stronger than that. You want to walk away and say, I'm not putting up with this shit. I've felt it, I've dealt with it, I don't need this anymore because I've become stronger than it. You can't become stronger in that situation if you sit there and cower and wait for the man to go, or you don't conquer the relationship. There is actually some truth in running away from a relationship and not facing that relationship. So it's easy to run away because it'll come back to you again. So how do you conquer a relationship which is abusive? You have to understand that whoever you're meeting, you have to feel that energy, feel what they're like, understand them, and say, okay, this person has respect for me, this person is kind and caring, so I'll continue in this relationship. If the relationship starts to deteriorate at any moment, you turn around to this person and say, look, you're not the same person anymore, you've changed towards me, and this is not how I should be treated. So with all respect, take care, I wish you well, I'm not angry, I'm not upset, I love you, I think you're an amazing soul, but you treat me not the right way, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to accept that. So I wish you well with all my heart, take care, goodbye with love. Okay, so that's a way, that's not the answer, but it's a way to conquer that. So you're walking away without anger, without being upset, without fear, without saying, why is this always happening to me? And that to me is the next step forward to nearly conquering that path. So when anybody says, I'm not coming back here again, it means that you haven't conquered the time that you're here, because you wouldn't need to say that. You wouldn't need to even mention it. Wouldn't even come out of your mouth. Okay? So you might understand this, you might not. But I'll give you another perfect example that joins so closely to this in the spiritual realms and in the spiritual work that I've done for 20 years. So there was often a time that I would sit with a woman, okay? Funnily, it never happened with a man, but it was always with a woman. And before they even said anything, I could feel one of the reasons why they came, right? And Penelope, a dear friend of mine in the spirit world now, she's still my friend in the spirit world, she comes often. She came in the physical because she was still alive, and she sat in front of me. She was an American New Yorker who lived in Spain. She was a baroness. Her husband was a baron. They were worth 500 million. Her husband found uranium in Canada, so he was a total multi-millionaire. Went to the house many times, you know, lots of people around them with white gloves, chauffeurs, maids, weird situation, but that's how they lived. So she came for a reading, Lovely woman. She was the one who convinced me not to move to New York when I was asked to go and work there. Don't do it, Mark. And I said, why? She says, because they've got it wrong. What do you mean? They've just got it wrong. I went, okay, I won't go then. And I didn't go because of Penelope. So I'm getting to the point. So Penelope sits in front of me and I smile and shake my head. And I said, please, Penelope, don't ask. And she's like, and I knew what she was asking. She was tied with her husband who would never let her have anything and never do anything good for people. She did do good for people, but she wanted to do more with that money. She wanted to give and help, okay? She was the woman who, on her moments of leaving this world, left me 250,000 euros and I refused it. I turned it down. I said, I don't need your money and I don't want it, but thank you so much. That's so kind, right? So that was interesting. But in that moment when she was wanting to know when is it her husband's time to move into the light, so she could use that money with good because he wouldn't let her, I would say, don't ask. Don't ask that question. And I said, it is in this time that you have to conquer this, which means that you have to get up off your back, but go back home and say to your husband, I'm sorry, but I'm going to start to do good with this money for the time we're here. And I'm going to start to share it. And I'm going to stand up for myself. And I deserve just as much as you in this relationship. But she didn't. And she couldn't. So guess who moved into the light first? She was in her 80s. Her husband was 97 years old. And he stayed alive longer than her. My point being about all of this is there is a common denominator. There is something on this path of spirituality that we walk that if we're forever saying the same thing over and over again, like, I'm not coming back here again, and, you know, I just wait till he dies and everything is going to, you know, is he going to die before me? Is he going to die before me? You know, there's a connection to all of this. There's a connection. And that connection is we have to conquer this journey. We have to conquer our relationships. We have to conquer our connections to people. We have to be stronger than being in the abuse, feeling the abuse. You know, so I don't know if you understand that, and I don't know if I've explained that fully for you to really grasp where I'm coming from. But there is a connection with people saying, well, I hope he goes before me and I'm not coming back here again. There's something in that. And to finalize, there was once a beautiful soul that I knew who kept saying there is not enough time in this world for me to piss about. That's what she used to say. She was a spiritual woman, very spiritual in the sense that she felt that being on this planet, she didn't have enough time to talk crap. She just needed to do her work because she used to say, I'm never coming back again, so I need to finish the work that I'm doing, okay? I remember the week that she passed and I could feel quite clearly that she wasn't in the spirit world and that she came back instantly into another body, meaning that I didn't connect to her at all. And my friend came to me, who was her best friend, and I said, I'll try. But I already knew she was coming back because she kept saying that her whole life that I knew her, and when she talked to great groups, big groups about spiritual work, her words were always the same. I haven't time to talk nonsense to you guys. I just want to do the work so I don't need to come back here again. And I tried to connect. I swear on my life I tried to connect and I could not attune to her. I tried over 10 times and I couldn't connect to her. And the only reason when I found that I couldn't connect to people in the spirit world is that they chose to come back again and continue their work. So here's my take. I will never say, I'm not coming back here again. I will say, I am here for a reason, right? So why am I rejecting that reason by saying I'm not coming back here again? I chose to come here. My consciousness chose to come here. I'm not going to fight with my consciousness. So whatever reason it is I'm here, I'm going to continue doing the work, and that's it. And you will never hear me saying I'm not coming back here again. You will never hear me saying, oh, I'm just going to wait for my wife to die so I can have a life without freedom. You'll never hear me say anything like that, because everything that I chose in this life is exactly what I'm going through now. Everything. There is no wrong and right. There is just that experience for me to grow stronger from. And if I'm in the pain and suffering of it all the time, I still haven't learned it yet. Just like I still haven't learned the suffering of children. I haven't overcome that yet. I haven't overcome the suffering of animals. I haven't overcome the suffering of women who are beat by men. I haven't overcome the suffering of anything that I see around me which is wrongdoings. I still work on that on a daily basis. I still have this empathy that's inside me that struggles not to want to go over and punch somebody in the face when they do something. Okay, I struggle with that. But I have to learn. I have to understand that you don't need to go over and punch somebody in the face. You can just maybe go over and say, please don't do that, you know? But then when I did that, I got punched by the very two people that I was trying to separate. So there's so much to understand and learn from. So you can't, I guess what it is you can't want the outcome. You can't create in the sense of an outcome in every situation, because you don't know what's going to happen, because every outcome is different. Every situation is different. So I've stopped expecting, I've stopped wanting, and I just go with whatever feels right and do my best and grow from the weaknesses that are within me, that those weaknesses that are triggers. So that's my point. Cheers, everybody. Did that make any sense? No. Maybe it was a difficult one, and maybe I didn't say it right. I didn't get it right. Sometimes my partner often says I don't communicate brilliantly, and I don't communicate. I wish I could. That's why my partner sometimes is with me when I'm doing big shows, to communicate when she realizes she knows what I'm saying, but it's difficult for other people to understand what I'm saying, and then she articulates it in such a beautiful way. I don't have that gift. I just channel, and sometimes I channel fast. Sometimes when I do radio interviews, it's terrible because my attention span moves from one thing to another. So I have to deal with the brain that I have, and my attention span is like, I have dyslexia and dyspraxia, so I quickly interrupt because I'm going to forget the brilliant question that I need to ask, and the person's still trying to answer the last question. So I'm crap at interviews because I don't know how to shut my mouth. And I try my best, and I've got another interview tomorrow, and I'm going to do my best to keep my gob shut and not get too excited, and try and allow the person that I'm interviewing, because it is an interview, even though I try and say, well, it's a coffee chat, so we're both chatting over each other, we shouldn't do. And the person that I'm interviewing tomorrow is a very calm and delicate, lovely, strong soul. So relax, man. Got all day, all the time in the world. Don't worry about the questions, and if you have, write it down. So I'm working on it. So I wish you all well, guys. Somebody asked me about the video, the new video. Look, this is my feeling, okay? When you find people, right? When you find people from, I believe, the spirit world, and finding these people guided to you by chance. There's a twofold energy. A lot of people say, oh, I've been guided by chance to this. And I would say, no, you haven't been guided by spirit with that one. Well, how do you know the difference? Well, normally it's a paid advert and it's being pushed by a media agenda. So there's a difference. So what I'm trying to say is, when people talk to me about anything to do which explodes on social media, it explodes on social media normally, not all the time, but normally, because the media or the puppet masters are allowing that to happen. Now, normally when the puppet masters allow things to happen and go huge, it's because it works in their favor. So it could be that people become so distracted that they turn into a cult because they're so infused in the power of that video, and then they become a cult and they don't even realize that they're doing nothing but just sat there. So ultimately, when you watch something and you give all your power to it, it means that you're not doing anything. And that's kind of like a power trap. I call it a power trap. And QAnon was one of them. And now there's a couple more that are happening. And I see them happening. And even the people who are in those videos sometimes don't even realize they're part of that trap. So it's not a conspiracy. It's just you can see clearly that this video is going to make you do nothing. Right? Oh, it was a brilliant video. Oh, you see all the children being trafficked. Yeah, but nothing happens. Nothing happens after that. But I tell you what can happen. You can be so traumatized that the energy that you give off is that feeds this darkness that's around us. It's just something to think about. There's nothing wrong with understanding that there is trafficking, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to make that change? I don't think a video makes the change per se. Just like QAnon video, the 8-part or 9-part series, that didn't do anything except trap everybody. The continuation of the darkness still continued. The jabs came out and everything, and the culling continues, and to this day the monetary system is going to collapse to a digital currency. Poison meats are going to come out which aren't meats, and so on. So nothing really changes, guys. So the point being is that we all scramble to want to see something on social media that's going to change, but nothing ever changes. It's just a shock, horror. Oh, we know about this and we share it, but nothing happens, nothing changes. So my point is that the world is filled with darkness, and watching a video doesn't change that. But by getting up and making the change, doing something, creating, helping people around you, and conquering the demons within us and understanding how darkness works is part of the journey. Now, I don't have the answers because I don't think there is an answer to anything. I think there's always going to be abuse in this world. There's always going to be, children coming and going in this world. And how hard is that to understand? One of the things that I talk about flowers, I'm doing an example. I'm doing a book about flowers, okay? In the very beginning of the Flower Bible, it talks about Mother Nature, and it says if you can, love Mother Nature, which means don't pull a flower out of the soil, because that's the spirit. There's a spirit attached to that. So leave her there and read your flower by the flower on there. However, some people do buy flowers. That's okay. There's no wrong and right with it. But if you can respect Mother Nature, leave the flower to grow and read the flower that way. Now, there is something in this, right? There is a connection between all things. And that is, imagine a flower growing and then it's cut, like tulips in Holland. They're grown specifically and then cut. So could it be that if we believe that all things are energy, everything that is alive is a spirit in one way or another? So we're all spirits. You know, you can have garden spirits if you believe that. Fish spirits, animal spirits. We're all spirit within everything that is alive. So we choose to go into whatever, we carnate in whatever animal, fly, whatever we want to do. And so I believe that. And the reason why is because we choose to feel what it's like to be in that body temple, whether it's a flower or whether it's an animal or whether it's a human. That's my truth. That's my belief. Okay, you say what you want to that, but I don't believe in animal rainbow kingdom. I believe that we are all inside every animal is a soul equal to yours. Okay, so a flower grows and gets cut. Does the spirit in that flower know this? I believe so. I truly believe so. So a flower grows and gets cut. The spirit that goes into the flower knows this and experiences life for that point, and then goes and then moves back into our home world, spirit world. Okay. This is only a brief description. Imagine a baby in a womb. It chooses to come in to experience that love in a mother's womb or that suffering in a mother's womb. Okay? So how long that baby stays there is already written in the contract, the stars. It's already written. So my next life might be I come back into a mother for 2 weeks and then I leave. It has nothing to do with whether that mother chooses to end the life inside or whether it was a natural losing of that child. In the spirit world, there is no difference. Okay? So that is my understanding. That is not to say that I would rather you leave the flower to grow, because that's just my feeling. That's just my feeling. Leave the flower to grow. But ultimately, if I said leave that flower might die the next day, because that was its path, that was its moment. So whether I chose to cut it or whether nature disposes of it and it's time to go is really irrelevant. It's just my feeling. Please don't hurt it. That's my feeling. There's nothing wrong with having a feeling, but it's not the end of the world, and I understand it more as a healer and as a psychic who've read for many people. I understand it more. There is no judgment, but my feeling, my personal feeling, what I have to work on is I don't want to see a child hurt. I don't want to see a child hurt. So there's so many aspects to spirituality and walking your path, and the one thing that I do know about this work is there's no wrong and right. There is no answer. Even though you think there is no answer. There is only experience and the best you can do in this world. And when you go into the spirit world, just before you go in, you look at everything that you've done and say, did I do my best? And if you feel you've done your best, then that's all that was asked of you by yourself. Just do your best and follow what feels right inside. Even if you make a mistake afterwards and look back and think, shit, it's okay. That's what you needed to learn from. And that mistake was there deliberately for you to feel, because the experience of life is the pain, is the happiness, is the suffering, is the excitement, is the depression, which is no such thing. It's all energy of experience, and it passes through you. It could be cancer, and it could take you, or it could pass by. That's another experience. There's Literally millions of experiences. You've got to look at this. How cute is that?
Mark, are you ready?
Thank you so much.
Have a look.
Thank you. I will.
Ready?
I'll look.
That's your offer. So let me know when you're ready to.
Thank you so much.
Just take your time.
I will. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you. So, okay, I think I've answered a few questions. Maybe I didn't answer them to your expectation, and you might have a completely different take on it, and that's okay, because I had a different take on everything that I've said 40 years ago. And it's not about being wrong or right, it's just about how I feel at this given moment. And one thing I realized that when I was a psychic reader is that I didn't have and I couldn't have an opinion. I had to sit on the fence and be completely nil and void of judgment and opinion. And I think that's what made me a better reader than I could ever imagine. And people came to me who, I mean, there were so many things people came to me for, but one of them was, you think that when somebody, like the flower, you cut the flower, you wish you hadn't cut the flower, really. So when a woman may say, I can't carry this child, right? There's so many reasons why they can't carry the child. And I'll give you one, for instance. They were raped by an absolute horror of a beast who raped many women, okay? So how can you judge one person by saying, oh, that's okay then, and then for another saying, well, that's not okay? So you can see, don't judge unless you walk in somebody's footsteps. What you can do is, well, once it's done, it's done. And from a perspective of a spiritual perspective, it's all as it should be. But on a singular level of, you're on this planet, oh, you shouldn't have done that, right? No, I never did that. I never said that. It's like, it is what it is. Okay, and a lot of the times, 99% of the time, people would sit in front of me and burst into tears when I said, there's a little girl here who's 4 years old, or 2 years old, or 1 year old, or there's a little baby here that's communicating, do you want me to talk? And they burst into tears and say, yeah, I had a miscarriage, or I had an abortion a year ago, and that's my baby. And then I'd speak to them and say, a lot of the times the baby would come back, right, which is quite a beautiful thing. That baby is a connection of, for some reason, consciousness comes back again into the female body. And I will say female because it can't come back into a male body. So it comes back into the female, and I'd say to them, so she's waiting to come back again, or he's waiting to come back again. How do you know it was a boy? Because he's here. I can feel him and see him. And he's beautiful. And he's now showing me what he looks like as he gets older. And it was beautiful to have them moments of coming home to when I was married to Susie, saying, it's so incredible what I've just seen. It's like, I just can't believe what I've just seen. And how spirit, comes back. And it's like, I don't want to talk about personal life, but it's amazing. It's just amazing. And so, like I said, sometimes spirit does come back. So, and they come back because they chose to have gone through that moment. And I used to say, so your baby came because the baby, it's the only way you can say it, your baby, the consciousness came, okay, to feel being in your body for a short period of time. And now they're going to come back and they'd say, when? Like, oh, it looks like maybe about 2 or 3 years from now. and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to complete the journey with you and live a long life. And then they'd burst into tears, and I'd say, so, and this was a real constant. The baby, which isn't a baby, it's the baby is just a spacesuit, but the consciousness wants to, makes you feel better, but the consciousness wants to connect with you now, okay? Why? Because they want you to feel better. They don't want you to be sad and upset because you may have taken your baby's life and that's how you feel. Look, it's not like that in the spirit world, okay? So this is how I know, because they want to connect with you. So I used to tell people to go down to the beach, walk along the beach, and you'll see a pebble. Pick that pebble up and hold it in your hand. Sit down and hold it in your hand, and you will receive a name, and that name is going to be your baby when your baby comes again, when the time is right. And what that meant is that they were connecting and they were healing from that process. And that wasn't me, that wasn't my mind, that was the spirit world telling me what they needed to do to heal and prepare themselves for the next time that that baby's coming back. So then they realized that I haven't killed anybody. You can't kill spirit. You can't kill spirit. You can't kill your consciousness. It doesn't die. The physical, yes. So there's a greater picture to everything. Not that I am condoning anything. I'm not, and not that I am judging anybody. I am neither a judge, and neither should you. Don't you judge people, okay? However, you can feel upset and pain when certain things happen. There's nothing we can do about that. Nothing we can do about that. If we hear about child trafficking, right? It's wrong, and we should do our best to make a difference and do what we can to help in this world. You can't fix that, but you can help in any way you can. Send positive energy. Do your best. When you see children, smile and give them a cuddle. And I don't know, that's as much as we can do. But the world works grander, bigger than, this is bigger than one person, in the sense of we can't fix everything, but we can fix around us. And there's always somebody there working to make the difference in this world. So when you aren't fixing something, somebody else is in another part of the world. So we're all here to try and make the difference from those that are not of consciousness like you and I. So we don't all come from the same God source. There are many different sources all over this galaxy, this cosmos. So we come into these bodysuits, and some are like you and I, and some are nothing like you and I. And that's the difference between light and dark, yin and yang, good and bad. You call them what you want, the jinn, dark energies, demons, all of these demons. You think these demons are just hanging around. Sometimes they can come back into physical bodies, and sometimes I have met people that are not vibrating at the same frequency as you and I. And I've kept this to myself for a long time, but now I'm getting older, I'm starting to share this more and more. Not everybody is the same inside this spacesuit, and we've got to accept that and understand that. And sometimes when you meet people, you feel cold, something feels wrong. Just there's so many energetic frequencies that happen at any given moment. I could break it down into so many different ways. Like when spirit comes into the room, our spirit world, normally you hear this high frequency and it's a high pitch and your ears pop. When it's spirit trapped in between two worlds, that frequency is, sometimes you get cold, or your hairs stand up on end sometimes. That's a lot of the time spirit trapped in between two worlds, or a ghost. And sometimes you might say, somebody just walked over my grave, right? So every energy is different to different energies of this world, different consciousness. I could go on all day, but I'm going to stop now. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. Take care of yourself and speak to you soon. Love you all. I'll leave you with I could go on all day, but I'll shut up now. Have a great day, guys. Anyway, guys, love you all. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I haven't upset. I'm sure I've probably upset lots of people, and there's loads more questions out of this conversation now. But there's only so much I can say, and there's so many other conversations within conversations. Don't take anything that I say literally. Think about it and work it out yourself. Ask yourself what feels right, and then go deeper into it. If something feels wrong, go deeper into it and start asking that, sometimes it's not the obvious. Sometimes you can go deeper and find different meanings and understandings, but it's like a ripple effect. There's no real one answer. There's so many ripple effects. So, yeah. I'm wishing you all a lovely day, and if I have upset anybody, I intentionally, never intentionally, never. On the transgender issue, don't ever call me a transphobic. Don't you ever dare call me a transphobic. I've read for many trans people, and I understand how their bodies are and how they feel, and I get them completely. The only thing that I have an issue with is it's been hijacked, and the real beautiful souls who do feel, I hate the word transgender, who feel that they're in the wrong body, I utterly understand completely with all my heart, and they are beautiful souls and I love them to bits, and they're the ones who don't jump up and scream and shout saying I want to punch the crap out of you. It's been hijacked, guys. They've been hijacked, and it's been deliberately hijacked. That is what my phobia is. So, love you all. It almost feels like every day I have to justify myself, and it's tiring sometimes. Anyway, let's end on a beautiful note. Today is a beautiful day. A day to just flow, just to be, and just to accept. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Have a great day. Love you all.